So today we're going to be learning about how to write functions from word problems. Again, this is one of the big things that the state wants you to be able to do in Math 1 is write an equation from a scenario. So let's look here. I have the filled out version. Yes, right here. Okay, so I will zoom in a little bit in case you can't see that. Okay. All right. So remember, just fill it in as I write. So let's look at the original word problem. So Jill opens a bank account with $100 she received for her 14th birthday. To help save her car for a car, Jill decides to deposit $10 of her allowance each week into the account. So we need to figure out again our independent and dependent variable. Once you can figure that out, that helps you decide what the equation is going to look like. So what are our two things that we're talking about here? We talk about, I see money, and then we talk about weeks. So what depends on the other? Does the amount of money that she has depends on the week it is, or does the week depend on how much money she has? Obviously, her money or her account balance, that means her money, depends on the number of weeks that's passed by. Okay, so money depends on weeks. So now we can determine our dependent and independent variable. So remember, what depends is the dependent variable. So the money, the account balance, are going to use the letter B, depends on the independent variable, which is the weeks. The number of weeks have gone by that will change the amount of money I have. So number of weeks is my independent variable. We're going to use the letter W for that. So now we can easily write an equation because now I know dependent, remember Dixie Royd, dependent is a Y value range. So the dependent or the Y value is the balance, B. And remember Dixie, independent is the X value, the domain. And so that's W. So we're going to use function notation. So remember that's similar to like the f of X, but we're going to use balance for B and weeks for W. So it's going to be B of W. B is like our F, our name. W is like our X. Okay, so what's happening every week? She is depositing $10. So is that a positive number or a negative number if I deposit? That's positive. Withdraw would be a negative. So that's 10W. They're putting it behind, but you can't put 10W first. It's up to you, however you like to write it. So 10W, and does she start with any money or does she not start with money? She starts with $100. It says she deposits that in her account. So that is $100 plus $10 every week. So 10 times W. So there's our equation. Okay, make sure I got all that. Yep, okay. So now, how much will she have after 23 weeks? So I want to know how much money will be in her account after 23 weeks has passed. So what does 23 represent? The W or the B? Weeks is W. So I'm going to plug in 23 into wherever I see a W in my equation. So B of 23 equals 100 plus 10 times 23 because there's another W. All right, so remember order of operations, we do multiplication and division first. So 10 times 23 is 230 plus 100 is 330. So how much money will she have after 23 weeks? So in 23 weeks, Jill will have $330. Make sure you get used to using the units. We're talking about weeks and money. So 23 weeks, $330. All right, now let's look at a different way to use this equation. If Jill wants to buy a car that requires $1,000 down payment, how many weeks will she need to save? So we're talking about $1,000 deposit. So is that going to be in weeks or is that going to be in the balance? Well, that's money, so that's in the balance. So am I going to plug it into W or am I going to plug it into the B? I'm going to plug it into the B. So I'm going to set my equation equal to, I already know what the answer for the Y value is, the B, it's $1,000. So I want to know what's going to be the W. How did I get there? How many weeks did it take me to get to 1,000? So we're going to set the equation 100 plus 10W equal to 1,000. So now it's just a two-step equation. So we are going to remember order of inverse operations. Remember you always undo what you see first. So I have $100 first, so I'm going to undo that. That's a positive 100. So what's the undoing of a positive 100? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 100, and what you do to one side, you do to the other. So 1,000 minus 100 is 900. Bring down the 10W. Now I see 10 times W. How do you undo that? Division. So I'm going to divide by 10 on both sides. 900 divided by 10 is 90. So equals W. So what's the answer to our question? It will take Jill 90 weeks, because that's W, so it's 90 weeks, to have $1,000, because 1,000 was our money. So that is another way you can use your equation to find certain values. Okay, so you're going to fill that in here by yourself. And then your job is to do this problem on your own. It's very similar to the one we just went over together. All right, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.